In today's tutorial, let's learn how to do one of my sock inspired hats, and I have done this for all sizes. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you a general overview of one of the sizes, and you can take that information and be able to convert it everywhere from a newborn size all the way to a grown man. So within today's tutorial we're going to cover all sizes, and that's coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to do sock inspired hats. This is my own design and I'm sharing it with you for free, of course. So what we have today is that I was at the mall and everybody was like wearing these kind of cool hats, and I thought, you know what, I need to make one out of the crochet because I prefer to make it myself and wear my own creativity. So I figured out that I got a pair of socks, and there it has the cream, it has the grays that you can see within the work socks, and then you have also the red. So I've found a color, and this is called a Bernat Super Value, and this is called Gray Rag, just like this. So it's Bernat Super Value. You can see that the yarn has a color to it that looks like a gray rag. So what we have is that I mixed up the red, the gray, and the cream together to create these sock inspired hats. And I did some ribbing effect because I noticed on socks generally is that it's very light, but there's actually some ribbing effect that goes in the top of the socks, and I really wanted to capture that instead of this just being a solid flat color. I also decided that in this pattern is that it has back and front posts. It has actually I think what's a front post for most of it. So because of that, it has an extra layer to it, so it actually goes really quite thick on the inside. I've been wearing this hat, so you can see this is what it looks like on the inside. So it's got a lot of thickness to it because of the way that I have designed this. So I figured if you're gonna want to be warm in the winter, you might as well have a hat that has more thickness to it. So let me go over some of the design concepts when it comes to getting the free pattern and also the instructions that I've written for you today. So in the crochetcrowd.com, I've called them crochet socks, hats, all sizes, because there are all sizes available to you. And I did of course my artwork, and you can see that this is the gray rag that you see, and of course there's links to the Super Value yarn if you would like to have that yarn. But what I decided to do is that I created this whole kind of understanding of the way that the stitching is working, and so we're gonna work from the top all the way down to the bottom. And if you can look at everything as in pie shapes, it comes to across as really interesting. Now this is a downloadable PDF worksheet that I did do, and you can see that everything is working in sections, and I called them pie shapes. So basically there are 6 pieces of the pie, and you can see that the growth rate happens. So every time we go to start a new pie, we're growing more and more until we get to the size that we want. So what I had for this is that I put the width of the pie and the size. So if you want, for example, a newborn, the width of the pie should be 5 stitches, and here this pie, this is 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So if you want all the different sizes, so even a men's, there will be 12 stitches going across. So this is a representation on how to get started on the pie and what you need to do, and we're gonna be covering that in today's tutorial. So we're going to also, I gave you the information on how many stitch counts you're going to need in the perimeter going all the way around, and what are the average height. So if you have a newborn, how high should your hat be, and then up all the way to men. So I also have then the written instructions available to you. But I'm really gonna concentrate today on this pie shape to begin, because once you understand that concept, everything else should fall in line. So let's begin, and I'm going to work on, I think, the 6 to 12 month size today in this particular tutorial. And again, you can just transfer any of the information that I'm about to show you, because once you understand this concept, it becomes really quite easy. So let's look more carefully at the pie shape, and if you can follow it, if you just pull up everything, you see that the pie shape kind of grows. So here's one pie right here, and you can see that the lines kind of get further and farther apart from each other. So if you, no matter where you rotate it, there is a total of 6 pies. So if you can just follow it down, so one goes one direction, one goes straight down. So but we don't crochet from the bottom, or like from the bottom of your forehead up, we actually crochet upside down. So as we're working on this project, we have to look at this project as an upside down. So every time we started a new section of the pie, it does a growth, and so then you'll see that the growth wants to extend on a diagonal, and the other side of it, the other side of the pie, just continues to go straight down. So you can get a really good glimpse of what we're doing, and there's only 6 pie shapes when it comes to being able to do this. So we're gonna work on the 6 to 12 month size for this particular tutorial today. Again, you just have to transpose that information, and then once you get all the way to the bottom, then you can do your brim. Now the brim, this is more for an adult size, but for the child size that I did for the other one, I just kind of went easy on it and just did one layer of cream, one red, and then cream again. So again, that's up to your own creativity on what you prefer to do. Using a 5 size H millimeter crochet hook today and the Bernat Super Value Gray Rag, we're gonna begin to start our project. Let's start off with the magic ring first. So just lay the string down in front of your hand, okay, like so, and just wrap it around your 2 fingers and then come up over on a diagonal to the top side. Put your hook underneath the first string, grab the second, and just rotate around and grab the string once again and pull through, and that locks in your magic ring. There are other dedicated tutorials available for doing magic rings if you've never done one before. So that doesn't count as any of the stitch work, that's just to get us started. So in this particular one we're gonna do 6 single crochets. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and this is where I want you to stop. Now this whole hat works on the concept that it is a continuous revolution, so we're not ever gonna slip stitch up when it comes to the main part of the hat, so you'll never see us slip stitching. So how we do that is that we get a spare piece of string, and I'll show you what to do with it. With a spare piece of string, all I want you to do is that on the final 6th one here, just slide up underneath of the stitch, okay, just don't let that loop go, and just pull a portion of the string through, and this will represent as a stitch marker. If you have stitch markers, then you can do that one there, and we're gonna move that every time we go around because I want you not to slip stitch, but we still have to keep account of our rows so we can keep our pies in order. Once we have that done, we're just gonna use this string here and just pull everything tight, and it will bring this whole piece into a complete circle, and then we're just gonna continue to rotate around this like a big snail, but we have to move this red every time we go around. So let's begin the next round. To begin the next round, we just immediately jump to the next stitch that's available to you. So it looks like it's far away, but it will come in balance once you do it. So we're going to come around and we're gonna half double crochet twice into each one of the stitches. So that was 1 and 2, and then we're gonna come into the next one. So 1 and 2, and then the next one, and there should be a total of 6 groups of 2 by the time you get all the way back to that stitch marker. And I want to show you what you need to do when you get back to that stitch marker so that you know what you're doing. So once you're back at the stitch marker, put in your 2, and so the last one of the 2, you want to just take your hook out, move your get your string, and just pull a portion of that red string through, and then that represents that you've just finished that revolution. And so now we're going to begin starting to do our pie shapes. Now all the pies are the same regardless of what size that we're going to do, and we're starting them all off the same way. So what we're gonna do is in the very first post, and it's almost kind of hard to see it, in the very first post that you can find, okay, there's gonna be 2 half double crochets. It's kind of awkward to see the very first time you ever do it. So the very first one, we're going to put 2 front post double crochet. So we're gonna just wrap our hook going in through the side of the stitch, pop that back out. It's gonna be tight, okay, and then double crochet as normal, and do that twice into that same post. And in the next post that you want to do is that you want to do a back post double crochet. So you're gonna come in from the back side, and again it's awkward at first, but once you get past this revolution it becomes really easy, and you want to do 1 back post double crochet, and that completes 1 pie of the 6. So you're gonna have 2 stitches that appear in front and 1 that's sunken in behind. So then we come to the next group of 2 stitches that you need to work with. So you're gonna come in to do the first one, is going to be 2 front post double crochets. Okay, and then the next one is going to be a back post double crochet. So the second one of the 2 half double crochets is going to be a back post double crochet. So you want to continue to do this, and you can see that the pie shapes are starting. So this is one pie, this is another pie. So just review one more time. So the first post of the half double crochet is going to have 2 front post double crochet. And the next one is a back post double crochet. Continue to do that all the way around, and you should have a total of 6 by the time you get back all the way to the stitch marker. So if you played your cards right, when you came around all the way, the last one should be the one marked with the stitch marker. That will be your back post double crochet to finalize the final pie. So you should be able to see that they're raised up. So we got 1 pie, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you get that one in, just simply move that stitch marker up once more so that we know exactly where we are when we're going all the way around. So now this becomes the point where 2 revolutions, or like there's 2 different revolutions on the way that we start. So in the next revolution, what we need to do is that we need to start off with trying to maintain the pattern so that we can have the ribbing going up and down and following its consistency. So every other round, which I'm about to do, starts off kind of weird, but then it makes sense when you finish it in the next round. So let's begin this next round. So let's begin, and we're just immediately, there's no slip stitching because we're doing a continuous circle. So in the first one we're gonna put in 2 double front post double crochets. So that allows the pie to grow. The next one is going to be a front post double crochet. And then the final one, it's already in the behind, and it's gonna be a back post double crochet. So you're thinking to yourself, last time we did it is that we did 2 front post double crochets, and then we went in behind, and then we went to the next one. Well, we have to maintain this ribbing effect of it being a rib. So every other row round that we're gonna start with is that we have to have 3 that are in the front, because the next one's gonna make sense on how I'm gonna show you how to make the second one come to the back. So in the next pie that we're gonna start with is that the first one is gonna be 2 double crochets in the front post, and the next one is a front post double crochet, and then the final of that pie is already in behind. So whatever is in behind is just kind of maintaining itself for this entire patterning. Okay, so just review again. So the first one is gonna be 2 front post double crochet. The next one is gonna be 1 front post double crochet, and then the one in behind is a back post double crochet. Okay, continue that same patterning going all the way around. You can see that the pies are getting bigger, and I'll show you what to do in the next round. So in coming up all the way back around, the next one is the stitch marker, and when I follow the pie, it is the one that is the one in behind anyway. So it's the very last one. Once you get that one done, then you need to pull up the stitch marker once again and move it up so you know exactly where you are. So you don't want to ever get lost on this project where you're gonna go. So the next revolution that we're about to start is going to start making more ribs. So we have a rib already showing here, but we have 3 that are in front. But the next time we do this is that we're gonna start making more ribs. So let's begin the next revolution. So I would classify this as the revolution number 2. So the first one we have to get bigger, but then it's the next revolution that creates more ribs. So the very first one that you're going to start off with is gonna have 2 front post double crochets, so it continues to grow the pie. So this time we want to create the rib sinking down. So the next one that's in the front here, we want to come in from behind, so that will now transition to a back post double crochet. Okay, the next one is in front, so we're gonna keep that as a front post double crochet, and then the final piece of the pie is in the back post double crochet. Okay, so in this revolution what we've done is that we've created so that we have another section of ribs now beginning. So let me review that again. So the next part of the pie is the first one will be 2 front post double crochets into the same one. Okay, the next one that is in the front is, this time it's gonna be a back post double crochet to pull it backward to make a rib. The next one is already in front, so we're gonna keep that. And the next one, the final one, is a back post double crochet. Do you see that? So you can see that the ribs are kind of separating itself into creating more ribs. So I'm just gonna review this one more time. So you're gonna go to the first one and it's gonna be 2 front post double crochets. And then the next one, you're going to convert that back to a back post double crochet, so it'll pull it back and behind to create the rib. The next one's already in front, so you're gonna use that as a front post double crochet, and then the final one is a back post double crochet before starting the new rib. So you're going to really start to see how the ribs are playing with each other on the way that it's working as you're going all the way around. Continue that same pattern and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. So in coming up all the way back around, here's my stitch marker. That is a back post double crochet, and that's just because it's in line with the final pie. So let's move up that stitch marker once again. So for the 6 to 12 month size, I determined that there's 7 stitches in the pie. So how do we determine that? You can see that there's 2 in this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5 so far at this particular point. So this would be a newborn size if I were to stop. But I don't want to stop at a newborn. I want to go a little bit bigger today. So we're gonna begin another revolution, and so this time we want to continue to grow the pie, but we want to maintain this ribbing as well. So in this revolution, it's kind of what we did 2 revolutions ago. It's the same thing. So the first one is gonna get 2 front post double crochets, and the next one is going to also be a front post double crochet. So we need to create this, and we feel like we're doing it wrong, but we just have to wait for the next revolution where we're gonna pull one of these backward to continue and make a new rib. So for the remainder of this particular pie slice, we just have to follow what is already there. So the next one is in the back post double crochet, the next one is the front post double crochet, and then the final piece of the puzzle or the pie is a back post double crochet. So it's always gonna end up in the back post double crochet for a pie. So I just look for where the new pies start. It's not hard to be able to do that because you can see it's kind of like a clump. So let's begin again. So the next part of the pie will be 2 front post double crochets. Okay, the next one will be a front post double crochet as well. And then we just follow what is already in the pie shape. So the next one is in the back post double crochet. The next one is front post, so we're just maintaining what's there, and then the final one is a back post double crochet. Do you see that? So carry along with that same patterning going all the way around, and I'll just review on getting started once again because I think we're gonna be close to the 6 to 12 month size as well. So in coming up all the way back around, here is the stitch marker, and that happens to be the back post double crochet to maintain the pie. So we can just look again and count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that means that I have one more revolution to do the 6 month size. So if you were doing a men's hat, you would have to make sure that there's 12 stitches in between all of this before, like in each pie, before moving on to the next part of the process. So let's begin the next revolution, and this is the second part of the revolution. So the first one we have 3 in front, so now we're gonna pull one back to create another layer of ribs. So the first one is going to always get 2 front post double crochets. And now this time the next one is gonna be a back post double crochet, so we're gonna pull it from behind to create a new layer of ribs. And now all the rest of the pie is in line with what you need. So there's a front post is next. The next one is a back post. The next one is a front post. And the next one is a back post. And then a new pie starts. Okay, so we just created a new set of ribs going down the hat. So okay, so let's begin again. So here is a new section of the pie. The first one is going to be 2 front post double crochets. The next one we're gonna pull the next one back, so back from behind, back post double crochet. And then the next one is a front post, so the remainder of the pie is just gonna maintain what you already can see. That's one thing I love about this pattern, is just how you start and create new sections. and then the rest of it just follows suit. So here's the next section of the pie. So a new pie starting, so it's gonna be 2 front post double crochets. So you have your growth. The next one is a back post double crochet to pull it behind to create a new rib, and we just maintain exactly what we can see for the remainder of this particular pie shape. Hopefully that is making sense. It's the way that I look at it when I go to design and be able to do this. I've done a few of these already. So continue that same patterning going all the way around. If you're doing the 12-month or 6 to 12-month sizes, you're going to be finished. This is the final growth round, and then I'm gonna show you what to do. And so for everybody else that is doing different sizes, continue along until you get to the right amount of stitches that you need. So 6 to 12 months is 7, 12 to 24 months is 8, 2 to 5 years is 9 stitches, 6 to teenagers is 10 stitches, women are 11 stitches, and men are 12 stitches within the pie. And I'll be right back, and we're gonna carry on with this particular tutorial on what we need to do next. So I'm just coming up around on this final revolution, and I want to move up my stitch marker. I still have to continue to play with the stitch marker until I get to the brim of the hat, because we're gonna continue to grow in a continuous spiral so that we never have slip stitching. It bugs me when there's slip stitching on a hat. So now I'm gonna count my stitches. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now I have the right size, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, 6 to 12 months, this is pretty small. It takes about 3 more revolutions of regular stitching in order for this hat to become in balance, and because it continues to grow even though we're stopping the growth at this point. So the stitches are still having to stretch out and to be able to come to its final sizes. So we don't ever want to stop the growth when you think your head is done. You want to stop a little bit earlier because it's gonna take a few more revolutions for it to stabilize. So this is what we're gonna do for those that are ready for the next step. So for everybody ready now, the top of the hat no longer is going to grow any more ribbing. So we're gonna at this point, so in the 12 to 6 to 12 month sizes that you see right here, you can see the difference here. So if a men's size is, obviously the pie is gonna be much bigger, but we're gonna move along now to this section here, and this is actually all front post double crochet, and the reason why I did it is that I did want extra layers that appear in behind. So to get this is that you're gonna continue to go in a continuous revolution so that you can really kind of just make it so there's no slip stitching. So you're gonna start off, and every stitch is gonna be front post double crochet. So this is gonna eliminate all that ribbing that you've been doing all the way along. Okay, so no matter what size you're working on, once you get the number of stitches in your pie, you're then gonna shift to this and do everything as a front post double crochet all the way around. Okay, so now I have provided this information in the more information in this video of all the sizes that you're going to need. So for the 6 to 12 month sizes, basically you're looking at a 7-inch height. So when I stop the brim, I need to make sure that I can take the measurement from the top of the hat to the brim, and it'll be approximately 7 inches, and that will take it just below the ear. Okay, so if you would like to be able to test it on as you get closer to the 7, you can always customize it, make it longer or shorter. That's up to you. So remember, when we go to do the brim, we're gonna come down just a little bit lower, not a lot, and then we're going to flip up the brim in order to create the sock looking effect of this hat. So what I need you to do is just every time you pass the stitch marker, just continue to grow this hat until you get to the dimensions that you need, and just continue to front post double crochet until you get to that point. Every time you pass the stitch marker, I need you to move up that stitch marker so that you can keep a count if you want to on where you are in the pattern. If something is wrong within your pattern, say the hat is not growing to what you need it to go, by adding the stitch markers there, you know how many revolutions you've done because you will be able to follow it up through your hat as well. So you will notice at this particular point as well is that the hat is continuing to grow in my hands. You can see it's still bowling out, and that's why we need to stop right where we did, because by the time it stops growing, it's gonna be able to fit that 6 to 12 month size easily. When you get all the way down to the sizes that you're going to need, the very final 4 stitches of your revolution will just be slip stitches to bring it back in balance before beginning the brim area. And once we start the brim, then we will be doing slip stitching as we go in each round in order to keep it in balance. And there is a red line in it, so you don't want it to be a continuous spiral, because then the red lines will not match up when they come to do it. So I can see that I've hit the stitch marker now. Actually no, not yet, one more to go. So I've hit the stitch marker now, coming in from the front, and again every time I hit it, just move that stitch marker up into the same stitch and continue to circle this until you get the size that you need. So I'm gonna go to 7 and then I'll be back and then I'll show you how to do the brim. Coming up, and I'm almost at the size that I need, and I want to be able to finish this section. So I need to bring it back in balance because we're gonna start the brim next. So the final 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I want to do as slip stitches instead. Okay, and the brim is gonna cover these up anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so I can do one more. Okay, so just coming in the front section just to keep that in balance, just slip stitch the final 4. And then we're going to then fasten off, and then we're gonna start our new color, which is the cream. And I have designed this so that the cream does a really unique look to it, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So fasten this off and then just leave, come back, and we'll begin the next part, which is the brim. So we're going to then discover the brim. So what I have here is that I have a smaller example, and what I did in this is that the first revolution of the cream is just a single crochet all the way around. The reason for it is that when you go to fold up something and it's a different color than what you have been using, if you fold it up, you can actually end up with having the same color appear underneath. So by doing the single crochet with the cream first, prior then to doing the brim, you can fold it up and you will have a beautiful clean line when you come in to look at this project for the very first time. So let's begin to do the brim. Now I determined that any sizes between 5 years old or the smaller sizes should just be just 3 levels to the brim, but we still have to have the single crochet, so which doesn't count. So we're just going to create a slip knot, and I want you just to join it to where that stitch marker has been that you've been following along, and you just need to go across the top. So just going in, wrap both, chain 1, and then single crochet into that same one. And I need you to go all the way around with just 1 single crochet into each. So this will create the readiness for the brim, because in the next revolution what we're going to do is something special to create the brim to have a permanent fold up. And so just single crochet all the way around your brim. So I'm coming up all the way around and I'm single crocheting into every stitch. So on the 5 years to younger, okay, there's only gonna be 3 layers of the brim that's about, and for the adult size, so 5 years and older, I recommended that we would do 2 layers of cream, 1 layer of red, and 2 layers of cream, so there'd be 5 instead. Once you get all the way back to the beginning, join it with the slip stitch and then chain 2. 1 and 2. And here's what we need to do for this one. So no matter what size you're working on, the very first, this next round is important. We need to come into the front loop only. So just half double crochet into the front loop. Okay, so remember, if you're new to crochet, there's 2 strings. They're considered loops. The one in the front closest to you is the front loop, and the one in behind furthest from you is the back loop. And what I need you to do is just half double crochet into the front loop only. This will create the brim to have a permanent fold at the front of it, or sorry, around the whole perimeter, just by going into one side. Okay, and it will favor wanting to stay up on its own. So you have a beautiful clean folding line that goes all the way around your hat. So we're going to go all the way around with this color, and then for the 5 and younger we're going to fasten off, and then if you are going for the bigger sizes you're gonna want to do 1 more layer of this, but this is the only time you're gonna do the front loops for this entire brim. It's just the first one just to get that brim to fold. So now that you can kind of see it has a line, so then I've done the front loop, so you end up with a permanent fold just like that. So carry on and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I'm coming up all the way back around. I am still doing the front loops, of course. Half double crochet, and this is the last one. So if I'm continuing with the adult sizes, I'm just going to slip stitch to the beginning, top chain 2, and I will chain 2 and then just chain 2 and then just half double crochet into each one of these, and then finish off the second round and then change to red. But if you want to change with me right now for the smaller sizes, I'm gonna fasten off this color and I'm gonna bring on my red. Okay, so I'm just gonna fasten this off nicely. So now that you've done the front loops in this entire round, you're going to notice that it has an indentation that you're looking at. So but if you go on the inside, you can just kind of fold it up. You see that it's working out really quite nicely. So let's grab our red next, and that's coming up right here. Okay, let's create a slip knot. It's only one layer of red for no matter what size it's gonna be. So we're just gonna go into where we started. Just attach your yarn. Okay, chain 2. So 1 and 2, and it's a half double crochet into each one of the half double crochets all the way around. So don't worry about any front loops or back loops or anything, just half double crochet as normal. And then once you've done this one, then change it back to cream. Do 1 layer if you're doing 5 and under, and do 2 layers of cream, all in half double crochet for those that are doing a bigger size. So I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. I've come up all the way back around. I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 2 that we started with, just like so, and we're gonna fasten off. And if you're doing 5 or younger, you just need to do 1 layer of cream that you've already done. And if you're doing the adult size, then you just need 2 layers of cream, and they're both in half double crochet. Okay, so grab on your cream. Okay, right where you joined, begin, attach. Okay, chain 2, and then half double crochet into each one of the half double crochets going all the way around. So the half double crochet makes it kind of tight looking. I didn't want to use double crochet on the sides and etc. So just continue to do that all the way around, and again just follow the prescription just follow the pattern if you'd like to do it the adult size for sure. And basically at this point, when you just pull it up, is that you'll be able to see that the brim is actually looking pretty cool, just like that. Okay, so I'll join you back here in just a moment and we'll finalize today's tutorial. So in today's tutorial we did the socks. Here's the final of the tutorial sample that we were working on here. So we have in all different sizes, right from newborn right to 6 to 12 months, and also to men's sizes. So I've been wearing this one in the stores. People have been complimenting me on the hat. You can slap a pom-pom, it's just a homemade pom-pom to the top, and now I have a set that's in trend for 2015. Until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Please enjoy my free pattern and love to see your creativity on Facebook. Until then, we'll see you. Bye-bye.